Hello everyone, and welcome to APCatering Dallas, Texas. I'm your host, Antonio, that's Chef Antonio as a matter of fact. And today, what I'm doing for you guys today is we're going to be doing pulled pork. A lot of people love pulled pork, but they just don't quite know how to prepare it the right way. What pulled pork comes from is from a pork shoulder. And it has to be cooked at a certain amount of time at a certain amount of degrees. Saying that anywhere from 3.5 hours to 8 hours it may take to cook an 8 to 10, maybe even 12-pound pork shoulder. So what I got going today is a nice pork shoulder. What I did was I split it. I cut it right down the middle, right between the bone and the flesh, and I opened it up. And what I did was I seasoned it with a combination of seasons that I used. I used some fresh chili powder, some garlic powder. I also used some ginger, some onion powder, a little seasoning salt in there, some smoked paprika, some accent, and some brown sugar. These flavors are going to infuse really good in this pork. Pork is good for sweet tasting, sweet flavor. So that's why we added the brown sugar, and also got the ginger in there to insinuate that as well. So what we're going to do now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my pork and I'm going to braise it a little bit. I'm going to put it inside of a nice hot skillet, and we're going to just get some color on that right quick before we decide to toss it in the oven. And as a matter of fact, we are putting the pork shoulder in the oven today, not on the grill, so it's not going to be smoked, but it's still going to be nice and tender and juicy. When you pull it apart, it makes some of the best sandwiches that I've ever had. I love a good fresh pulled pork sandwich, all right? So I have my skillet over here. It's getting nice and warm and hot. And right when the smoke starts to, you see the smoke coming out of the skillet, that's when you know it's ready to be dropped in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead on and put this in there, fat side down. You want to get your fat side nice and crispy. That's what we're looking for, a nice crispy brown look on this pork shoulder. And then we're going to flip it over and get the other side a little crispy, and then we're going to go ahead on and put it in the oven, all right? So now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with braising, well, how the braising technique is, but what you're basically going to do is you're going to cook your meat on real high heat, and you're not trying to cook it thoroughly all the way through. You just basically want to cook it to the point where it has color, and the seasonings that you have now been sealed onto the meat. So that way, when we throw it into the oven, those seasonings, it's not going to fall off. So I put my chicken stock in there. Yes, my chicken stock. With my pork, it's not going to rinse off my seasoning. So that's the whole purpose of braising the meat, to make sure those seasonings is still on the meat, so it can have a nice infused flavor and taste to it. All right. So what I'm going to do also, once I flip the meat, then I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to toss some onions and some peppers in there right quick, just to give it a little more flavor and to take it to a whole nother level. All right. So we'll be back in a minute.